and welcome to our recorded information session about the international programs at Osgoode Professional Development. Osgoode Professional Development is a division of Osgoode Hall Law School in Toronto, Ontario at York University. And here at Osgoode Professional Development, we specialize in offering continuing education programs on legal topics, as well as offering a range of professional master's programs for lawyers trained in Canada or outside Canada, as well as non-lawyers. Today's session will focus primarily on our international master's programs, along with a couple of options for people who are not ready to commit or perhaps not suited for taking a master's program at this time. The information in this recording is current as of December 2013, and it will largely deal with the intakes for our master's programs in fall of 2014. My name is Megan Thomas, and I am in charge of managing the international programs at Osgoode PD, and I'll provide my contact information at the end of today's presentation in case you have any questions. What we will talk about in today's presentation are 3 LLM programs that are particularly suited to candidates who have a law degree from outside Canada or a law degree from Quebec, a civil law degree. The Canadian Common Law LLM, the International Business Law LLM, and the Full-Time General LLM. We'll then move on to talk about some non-LLM options, one of which is single course enrollment in courses within our master's programs, which may be particularly of interest to candidates who need certain courses for accreditation to practice in Canada, but perhaps not a full master's degree, as well as our NCA exam prep program, which is a non-academic program that prepares you to write the NCA challenge exams in the core subjects. So as I mentioned, we have a number of items within our international programs portfolio, number of programs, those 3 LLMs, as well as the 2 options for those not interested in a master's program at this time. I'll move on first to talk about some questions that might help you to decide which of these options is right for you. First of all, are you interested in practicing Canadian law? Second, are you interested in returning to your home jurisdiction after you complete your master's program? Third, do you want to work in Canada as a non-practicing lawyer? And fourth, are you interested in studying an area of law at an advanced intensive level? The answers to these questions will help you decide which of our programs is best for you to apply for. For example, if you're interested in practicing Canadian law, probably the Canadian Common Law LLM is the best program for you. However, our International Business Law LLM program does provide some options for certain candidates to help with the accreditation process. Those who are interested in working as a non-practicing lawyer, perhaps simply improving their credentials to get a better job in their home jurisdiction after doing an LLM program, or want to explore an area of law at an advanced level, may be interested in the general LLM or the International Business Law LLM so that they can study in a specialized area. This chart, which I'll leave up for a few minutes while I talk about some of the options, can show for you some of the differences between the programs that we offer, the benefits and features and things that they can do for you. The first column that you'll see there, or row, is the format. You'll see that some of our programs are offered in both full-time and part-time formats. The International Business Law program is a full-time only program. And then if you want to explore single course enrollment or the NCA exam prep program, those are shorter options that happen over a more compressed period of time. Candidates who are coming in from a law degree outside of Canada, we recommend admission at particular times of the year. So the Canadian Common Law LLM and the General LLM, we are looking at admission for fall 2014 at this time. Some of those courses may start as early as August, but the bulk of them would start in September. The International Business Law LLM has a different timeline. It will actually start in the summer, and candidates from non-common law jurisdictions will join us in July for a preparatory course, and those from common law jurisdictions will start with us in August. For single course enrollment and the exam prep course, there's particular timing. Single courses will happen within a particular academic term, either winter, summer, or fall. And the exam prep program is generally run in the winter and summer of each year, primarily to prepare for the January and August NCA exams. The main program focus is an important characteristic to consider. So the Canadian Common Law LLM is primarily geared to give students courses that they may need for their NCA accreditation process, whereas our other LLM programs are focused on a specific area of law. International business law has a very specialized curriculum and gives between 2 and 4 elective courses. And the general LLM allows you to specialize in 2 to 3 of our professional LLM areas of study, which we'll look at in a few minutes. In single course enrollment, you can take up to 12 credits of LLM courses from any of the specializations. And the NCA exam prep program is focused on preparing you for the 4 core Canadian subjects on the NCA exams. At this point, you will probably have had a chance to look at the other features listed on the chart, and so we'll proceed to talk about these programs in a bit more detail. First, before delving into more of the detail on the International Business Law LLM and the other master's programs, I'm going to talk for a moment about the NCA accreditation process, for those of you who may not be as familiar with it. The National Committee on Accreditation, or NCA, is a regulatory body of the Federation of Law Societies of Canada. And one of its primary function is to assess the credentials of internationally trained lawyers or law graduates. And then it will issue an individualized report telling each candidate what he or she needs to do in order to obtain what's called a certificate of qualification, which would then enable you to go into the licensing process with the Law Society of any of the common law jurisdictions in Canada. If you have a law degree from a common law jurisdiction, such as the UK, the US, India, Nigeria, and so on, you will generally be assessed as being required to take a certain number of courses or exams. The most common number of exams that we see is between 4 and 8 from these types of jurisdictions, although some candidates need to take more depending on the curriculum and their academic performance in their law degree. Students coming from civil law jurisdictions are generally not assessed by the NCA. The NCA will simply say, you're required to go back and do a JD degree here in Canada, a 3-year degree, because the civil law training in the law degree does not provide enough common law content. Our LLM programs can work for either of these scenarios. They allow students to take many of the courses that the NCA may require for those who've been assessed. For civil law candidates, the Canadian Common Law LLM program will allow you to take most of the core subjects that the NCA requires and then obtain an assessment. After you complete your LLM with us, you can then submit your transcript to the NCA and either obtain a new assessment or a reassessment of your credentials. Very important to remember that Osgood and the NCA are entirely independent of each other. The NCA is a regulatory body, and we're part of York University. So each entity has its own criteria and its own processes. However, we do have our courses approved by the NCA as providing subject matter competency in the relevant areas that the NCA requires. So that's certainly helpful to our students in terms of meeting those requirements. So first I'll talk about the Canadian Common Law LLM program. It's a graduate level of study in foundational Canadian law concepts. And what this program gives you is core Canadian law courses plus flexibility in elective subjects. The elective courses can be taken either from the upper year JD program or from our many other LLM specializations, which we'll look at in a few moments. Our core courses, as I mentioned, are approved by the NCA. We do recommend that if you're from a common law jurisdiction, you get your NCA assessment done, or you at least have it in process before you start the LLM. That will allow you to gear your course selection to the NCA's requirements. Ultimately, each candidate is responsible for satisfying all the NCA's requirements and making sure that they meet the requirements of the policy, for example, to get approval from the NCA to take courses with us in satisfaction of that requirement. We work with each of our students individually to try to maximize your ability to meet NCA requirements. Our master's program is really a unique opportunity. You study in person here in Toronto with other internationally trained lawyers, with practicing Canadian lawyers who are in our other master's programs if you're taking electives from those programs. And many of our students will take at least some JD electives and will have the opportunity to interact with those JD students at Osgood's Keele campus, which is on the main York University campus. I'll now turn to talking about our International Business Law Master's program. As I mentioned, this program starts in the summer, and it does have a special preparatory course for students from non-common law jurisdictions. That preparatory course is focused on vocabulary that you will need for studying common law, as well as some methodology and tips for studying law in Canada, as our method of teaching and learning can be quite different from what you may have done in your previous studies. It's a graduate level of study in international business law. It does have a very specialized curriculum, including cross-border tax, international business transactions, international finance, and so on. We run a number of social events in this program as the students do move through in a cohort together. And there are generally 1 to 2 electives per term. For candidates who are being assessed by the NCA, we do allow for some elective space for Canadian common law subjects. So, for example, administrative law or criminal law might be available as an elective. The other thing is that we already offer a course within this program that satisfies the foundations of Canadian law competency, as well as there's a core course in business associations, which is the equivalent to the NCA's corporate law subject area. This program runs over a more compressed time frame than most of our master's programs. The courses run from the summer to the end of April of the following year. There is a significant research paper requirement in at least one of the courses. And the other thing that's unique about this program is the internship option. So our students in the winter term can apply for internship opportunities that are offered between May and August after courses have been completed. And many of our students have used those opportunities to segue into permanent opportunities here in the legal work marketplace in Toronto or elsewhere. There are generally 2 options for completion of our master's programs. You can either do just coursework, or you can combine coursework with a major paper if you're more academically inclined. All of our programs require that you complete 36 credits. If you're in a full-time program, that will happen over 3 consecutive terms, or part-time over 6 consecutive terms, which is 2 years as opposed to 1 year. And we do offer courses essentially year-round, fall, winter, and summer. I'm going to now spend a few minutes talking about our general LLM. The full-time general LLM is a relatively new introduction here at Osgoode Professional Development, and it recognizes that we do have some candidates who are not wanting to concentrate solely on one area. They may want to combine 2 to 3 areas of specialization to create their own specialization. And so you can see on the right-hand side of the screen all of the different specialization areas that we have in our programs. Everything from administrative law to tax law. And so, for example, if you're interested in business law, you might combine business law with tax and intellectual property. You might combine health law with labor law if you're someone who practices in the health area. And so this is a very flexible option for many candidates. For international candidates, right now we're encouraging fall 2014 applications. There is a full-time option if you wish to come and study in person in Toronto, and there's a part-time option available which includes many of the courses by video conference, so you can do that by distance. This program provides advanced study in these subject areas. It's designed for practicing lawyers with some prior knowledge in the area, or at least a demonstrated knowledge in the declared areas of specialization. These courses are specifically designed at the graduate level, and it will help you develop a further specialization in 2 to 3 areas of expertise. The features of our master's programs, again, this applies across all of them. The class scheduling pattern is either weekly classes, which are typically 3 hours in length. We do also offer some intensive courses that happen during the daytime. There is a significant outside classroom time commitment to prepare for classes, to prepare for exams or write papers or whatever the other method of evaluation might be. The evaluations can vary. In the Canadian Common Law program, we do have in-person invigilated final exams, plus midterm assignments. In other programs, there may be a combination of final papers, presentations, or other assignments. At Osgoode PD, we provide a high level of student support, so we handle registration and enrollment for you. You have a dedicated graduate program assistant who's your point of contact to do all of those administrative matters. We provide you your course books and materials as part of your fee, and we deliver them to you. And we have course websites for each individual course, as well as websites at your program level, so that we provide you with all the information you need on a regular basis. Admission requirements are fairly similar across our programs. We do require 2 copies of your official transcripts, and those need to be ordered directly from the issuing university. We know that sometimes this can take some time, particularly if you are ordering transcripts from a country that's distant from Canada or that has a complicated process for issuing transcripts. So what we recommend is that as an interim measure, you submit copies of your transcripts so that we can begin considering your application. We require a CV, a personal statement, your application fee, which is $100. If you have not come from a first language English background, or you haven't studied at a post-secondary institution where the official language of English instruction for at least 2 years, then you will need to provide a language proficiency test. You need 2 recommendation forms. Those can be academic or non-academic. We do like to see at least 1 academic reference if you have one that is helpful and recent. But ultimately, we leave it to candidates to decide what is best in terms of the recommendations that they submit. For the Canadian Common Law and the general programs, we do require a writing sample. Again, an academic writing sample is preferable, and even better if it's a legal academic writing sample that shows your research and writing ability. And for Canadian Common Law, we require the plan of study, which tells us which of our courses you're interested in taking. That's very helpful to us for planning purposes. And of course, for international candidates, we're looking for a JD or LLB degree from outside Canada, or a Canadian civil law degree with a B average, essentially. And we have a team of assessors here at the Faculty of Graduate Studies that will do the equivalency from your home jurisdiction to the Canadian letter grading scale. Very important to check our website for the current details and requirements for admission. At the moment, we are transitioning to a full online system, and all of the details are on the admission page of each of the programs. Tuition fees, if you're an international student, you're going to pay about $30,000 for the program fee. The domestic fee does vary by program, so please check our website. But for example, the Canadian Common Law and General fee is approximately $22,000 currently for the program. Those fees are subject to change, so please check our website for updated information. For fall 2014 admission, for most of our programs, we're looking at late March as an application deadline. We do encourage early applications because it allows us to process your application more quickly. And the International Business Law Program does have a scholarship fund available for applicants who apply by the end of February. We're now going to move away from the full master's programs and talk about single course enrollment. So this is an option for people who are interested in perhaps exploring an area of interest by taking one or two courses, or perhaps you have one or two requirements for NCA purposes and you want to take those by way of courses rather than the challenge exams through the NCA. So there are two options for single course enrollment. Without assessment is what we would traditionally refer to as auditing the course, where you simply sit in and participate in the class, but you're not an academic student for credit. With assessment, will allow you to participate fully in the course, do all of the methods of evaluation, and obtain a transcript with your final mark at the end of the course. If you study with assessment, you can later apply for advanced standing in an LLM program, or you can use this to meet your NCA subject matter requirements. The application process is fairly straightforward. It's set out on our website. There's one additional requirement for Canadian Common Law core courses, which is that our application requires a copy of your NCA assessment or some form of correspondence from the NCA showing that you need this course. Finally, a few minutes about our NCA exam prep program. Currently, we offer instruction in what we call the four Canadians: Foundations of Canadian Law, Canadian Constitutional Law, Canadian Administrative Law, and Canadian Criminal Law. The program, if you take all four subjects, gives you approximately 100 hours of teaching time, and it also gives you access to other resources such as sample exams, checklists, and other tools to help you prepare for the exams. We also have a bonus program, which is an exam writing workshop that focuses on exam preparation and writing strategy. We have recently run our November-December course, and access to the archives of that program and the course websites will be available until after the May 2014 challenge exams, and that's available for purchase at any time. We will be running our program again in the summer of 2014, and watch our website for details of that if you're planning to write the August or October NCA challenge exams. Now, most students who take our program will pass the exams on the first writing. You do need to spend some time as well on your own, working through the material and preparing. If you're not successful on the exam, you can attend our program again for free. And we provide this program for free to any of our current LLM students or alumni one time. So if you're preparing for any of these exams, this is a resource that's available to you as an LLM student. So that covers for you the general overview of our international programs here at Osgood. Again, the information in this presentation is current as of December 2013. Please do check our website for any updated information. Or once you've reviewed the information on our website, please do contact us at Osgood Professional Development. You can contact our admissions department at the email or phone number on your screen. Or for the NCA exam prep program, you can contact me directly by email or by telephone. Again, I want to thank you very much for your interest in our programs. Please do spend some time on our website and contact us if you have any information. We hope to be hearing from you soon.